Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Vlad, and this is the Pride Diaspora podcast, a free space where we immigrants can share their struggles, victories, and resilience during the process of immigration and finding out about themselves. We hope that these stories inspire other queers around the world to be themselves and fight for who they are. And our today's guest is Zuheir, who currently lives in Belgium, and he is a photographer, songwriter, and performer. Welcome, Zuheir, and thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, let's get started, and I'd like to ask you to tell just a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, so I'm Zuheir Sebiy. I come from Morocco and Saudi Arabia. I was born in Morocco, actually. I lived there from 0 to 12, and then I moved with my mother. She came here, she got married, and then she took me with her to live together from 12 until now. I'm living in Belgium.
Nice. So you're originally from Morocco, and do you still speak Arabic?
It's true that it's a bit difficult for me to come back to Arabic because my mother got married to a Belgian person. At home, the linguistic politic, it was French. So we used to speak French with his daughter and at home. But my mother was speaking to me in Darija, in Moroccan Arabic. But I was always answering in French. I don't know why, because I got used to talk French all the time. And of course, we were living in a village. So all the people were like Belgian, from Belgium, and there was only one guy who was also from Maghreb, from I think Algeria or maybe something like that. And we were the only two Arab in this village. So I was mostly speaking French and I almost lost my language, even if, of course, it takes me only 3-4 days when I come back to Morocco to wake the language again. But it's true that I'm not as comfortable, as fluent as the people who are still living there, or like, for example, the people who have a very Arabic family and they live in Arabic community, which was not my case when I came here, because as I told you, at home and all the context was really like French speaking.
Okay. Wow. And how was that change for you? Did you protest in the beginning, or you're like, okay, I like French?
It's interesting because for 3 months, I didn't talk. I don't know, since I was young, I was very like obsessed with doing things good. So when I was a child, I was like, no, if I start talking, then I have to speak well. So I didn't speak for 3 months. I was not speaking like French at all. And the moment I started to talk, I had no accent. I was fluent, and it's like everybody was like, is it possible that this person speaks that well? But I think when you are a child, your brain is very, very flexible and very stretched. So it's like very easy to start speaking a language easily, I think.
Okay. So you were like a perfectionist, let's say. Yeah. Like if I want to speak, I'm going to speak perfectly.
Yes, it was really like the goal in my head. Like if I start to speak, I have to speak well. So that's why I was not speaking for 3 months.
Okay. Wow. And then it went smooth. Yeah. You didn't have any problems, let's say.
I mean, yeah, of course, I was still learning the language. But the moment I started to talk, I was speaking well. Like, for example, my mother's experience is different because she came here, she came in Belgium. She was already 25. So her brain her tongue was very adapted to Arabic. So when she came, it was very difficult for her to get
to catch
the language. So for me, it was much easier, of course.
Yes, I see. I'm glad. Yeah, that worked out for you well. And you said that when you were a kid, you were doing different activities, right? That's when you discovered that you like to do some creativity.
Not when I was a kid. Well, when I was a kid, I was living in Morocco. So it's funny because I grew up a part of my life in Morocco and another part here. So my childhood was mostly in Morocco, in Tanger. Tanger is the north of Morocco. And we were living around 5 minutes close to the beach. So I by walking. So I was really like this wild child with a lot of friends in the neighborhood. It was quite really wild, I was the kind of child that was like climbing on houses and, like running in the street, playing football and going to swim in the beach and etc. And of course, the change when I moved in Belgium, I could feel that I was not sitting in. I could feel that my presence was a little bit more weird because the people were like, who is this person? Where is he coming from? In this little village where everybody's white, I was the only one who was colored, and I don't speak French, not yet. It took me three months to be able to speak correctly. But even if I was speaking correctly, I was lacking sometimes of vocabulary at some point. And even if you understand the context and everything, sometimes some ideas you don't, or some jokes you don't understand. It's interesting because I never thought I wasn't white, let's say, because I didn't think about the color. I didn't think that when the moment I'm gonna live in Belgium, I'm gonna be treated differently. I mean, I was naive and I didn't think of racism. With the time, I started to realize that I faced a lot of racism when I was 30 years old. 30. It's 5 years ago. I started to think about a lot of different events that happens in my life where I was facing racism without even noticing it was racism.
Okay.
Whether it's in school, whether it's in the street, whether it's like, wherever, it was always, or like when I was looking for a job, or like in a lot of different situations, I was facing racism. Thing that I was not facing at all in Morocco because I was belonging to there, and there was not such a thing.
Okay, so that experience, that racism, would it make you want to come back to where you were originally born?
No, I never wanted to go back to Morocco, but because I find a certain type of freedom that I don't find in Morocco, for example, which is the acceptance of LGBT community that we don't find that much in Morocco.
Okay.
Let's say that in Morocco, you are condemned if you are gay, especially like gay masculinity is very judged, and it's very difficult for people who are gay in Morocco. You have to be hidden to your life, and even you don't really like, you are not like fulfilled as a gay person. You cannot be happy with your life. It's very difficult.
Right. So, wow, that must be really distressing, no? Because you felt that you couldn't fit in, but at the same time, you felt that you couldn't go back, right? Because of the lack of acceptance. Yes.
It's true, but at the same time, I mean, experience of the child from 0 to 12, it was not that much about sexuality, because even if sexuality can start quite early, but you are still a child. I could see that some children who were more like feminine somehow, they could have much more problems that I had finally in Belgium. I had much more homophobic problems in Belgium than in Morocco, because as I told you, when I was in Morocco, I was a child. Nobody like really started to create problem with me. But when I came in Belgium, I started to change my style, and I became much more feminine, like long hair, and I decided to become very different from what people were expected me to be. And so I was attracting a lot of violence, and in school, and like very, very, very big aggressions and stuff. Well, this is life, as a gay person.
Right. That's true. Right. Okay. Would you say that you started to, let's say, notice that you are special from a young age, or this is something that came to you while you were already in Belgium?
No, I remember when I was a child, I always knew I was different. Like, I didn't know what was this difference. The moment I started to sexualize myself, I started to think that I was bisexual, but I never said to anyone that I am bisexual. I knew I was attracted by guys too, but I could open myself to both energies, which happened at the end because I had both girlfriends and boyfriends. So I never judged myself to be, for example, straight or something like that. But I think I was very lucky to come to Belgium finally, because even if there is a lot of homophobic energy in the village, but once you are in Brussels, where I live now, you have much more of like queer vibe and parties and events and culture. And this helped me to accept my creative clothes. For example, like I like to wear like I don't know, like different type of clothes, sometimes high heels or this type of things. And I can only really like enjoy doing that here because there are some places where you really can be yourself. And at night, you can avoid problems easily if you go to certain neighborhoods and streets. And of course, you have to be careful sometimes because even in Brussels, you can also attract certain type of violence and that you were not expecting. So you always have to be protecting yourself at some point. You cannot be completely drunk or something. You have to be always checking who are the people around and how you talk to them, because depending on how you talk to these people, you will also create more violence. And sometimes it's interesting because a homophobic person can be impressed by the way you talk to them, because if you feel totally comfortable walking with high heels and you look at the person like, I exist and you exist and it's okay, it's no problem. Then the person is a bit surprised because you're not scared of them. So the moment you see them talking and and laughing and stuff, so sometimes I'm not in the mood and I feel that there is a lot of eyes looking at me, and this can be a little bit disturbing, and it can feel a little bit uncomfortable, and I don't want to face their eyes, and I know that it can be very dangerous. Sometimes it's also by talking with the people and stopping and say, hey, what did you say there? Do you want to talk about it? Do you really think that we have to create this tension between us? Or is it possible to trust each other? We live in the same earth. So do you think it's possible to be in peace, actually? And the moment you talk to this person, they're like, who is this person? Why is he starting to talk about such deep things? That's at the end, it's so simple when you talk to people like face to face, but with peace, and you don't want anything bad. And you just want them to understand that actually you only come with good intention, and you don't understand why they are coming with bad intentions to you. But it's not always possible. If you are facing 4 people, drunk and very aggressive, then of course you cannot always be able to open a conversation or something.
In the end, it's all about creating your own safe space where even you can involve other people who think that difference is something bad. But by talking to them, you can negotiate. That's very interesting, insightful. Thank you. And what about your family? How was their reaction to your difference, let's say?
My story is quite simple and complicated at the same time. My mother was adopted. So as she is adopted, her family put a little bit less pressure on what she must be or she should be, etc., which placed her in a position to be kind of a rebel person who decides to do what she wants. And it was very difficult for her as a woman also, of course, as an adopted woman without any big family or big stature. And it's funny because I'm an illegitimate child born from an unknown father. I know him, I know his face, his name, and etc., but it doesn't really exist in my life. The moment he knew that my mother was pregnant, he disappeared. So this makes the thing very, very simple at the end in my case, because I don't have this masculine dominating energy who tells me what to do, because I was raised by 3 women, my mother, my aunt, and my grandmother. And now that my mother is married with my stepfather, who is Belgian, it makes it even more simple in a way, because my stepfather is Belgian and he doesn't really care about my sexuality. He's very open about that. He even makes jokes, but in a very nice way, not making fun of me, but really he's really accepting, and he makes it easier for my mother to accept me too. Let's imagine if she was married to a very traditionalist, conservative person, it will be much more difficult. So finally, there is a balance.
All right. And what about your family in Morocco? Do they know about your sexuality?
Of course not. Of course not. I will never explain, because they will not understand. Of course they will know at some point, because my work is gonna be about that. I do photography, video, music, performance, but I also writing a movie recently. I signed with the production, and the movie is about love and violence in a gay story. So it's a gay couple who are facing an internal conflict and an external one. The internal one is like their ability to be comfortable in this relationship, because one is not really out and he doesn't want to do it right now, and the other one is completely free and he wants to make things very concrete and everything. And the external one is like the violence in society.
This is something you maybe adopted some part, from your personal life, to share. And if your family in Morocco knew who you were, would this accept you?
I mean, things are so simple at the end, because my grandmother is dead now and my aunt has like Alzheimer and she's like in a very bad state. So the thing is, I don't have that much family, which is really, really easy, because then I don't have to justify that much things to people. Of course, I don't have not that much neither of friends, because as I grew up part of my life here and I didn't travel that much back to Morocco. So if I go back to Morocco now, it's going to be like traveling, meeting people, do cultural collaborations. I won't have time to justify myself with people that I don't care, because I don't care. They're not very close to me. If I choose them, it will be people that I have chosen. So I know why I'm choosing them, which is not the same with family,
Right. Yes. So you have a say in this, people you want to hang out with.
Exactly. And of course, I have like further family, but like cousins or like people like from this and this, but they're not really close to me and we didn't really grow together. So again, I don't have to justify myself in this case.
So your extended family, let's say, wouldn't know and wouldn't care,
Yeah, I think even if they know, they won't look after me, like, what are you doing? No, I mean, we are not close. We are not even following on Instagram, and I don't want to. So I prefer to be, detached from this part of like control that people want to have around you, or what you are, what you think, and I think also like what makes the thing so easy is that my mother doesn't know her family and I don't know my father. So finally not knowing your family is sometimes easier,
All right. Especially when you come from not a very inclusive country, yes?
Yeah, exactly. It's sometimes not inclusive, but even in Belgium, if the moment you are out of Brussels, you are in any other country, because people are still living in their own construction about what gays are, because they don't travel, they don't see the world, they don't know and they are scared because they spend their time watching a TV news that talk about fear and a lot of things. So people are just brainwashed and they don't know who is the neighbor, and they're scared about. And I think Belgium is really not a country that it's like really like super open-minded about gays, because it's only when you are in Brussels that you really feel secure and comfortable being yourself. And even in some part of Brussels, you have to be really careful. Now in Belgium, you have you are punished if you are homophobic, but still you have to prove it and you have to make a lot of things. And the police is as everywhere. They don't really care about you. If you are gay, they can even make fun of you, but less than other countries who are much more strict, much more dangerous. But still you can feel this, that you are not normal if you are gay. There is not much of gays in police, for example. Police are very racist, very queer-phobic, and it's until now is still the same.
Yes. Wow. But comparing to Morocco, I think you have more rights.
Totally.
Yes.
There's much more right, much more protection. Of course, I feel much more secure here, but still I encourage people who want to travel to feel much more secure in other countries. Of course, it's not the point, but be careful. Stay yourself. Stay conscious. Stay conscious about where you come from. Never think the moment you are in this country that you will be integrated by people. People will always see you as a stranger,
As a foreigner, yeah.
As a foreigner. In my case, as I'm from a Muslim tradition, I'm Arabic, so they will always see you as like a danger somehow to their culture. Yeah, it's true that there's some freedom, but at the same time, we have to be careful. Not because we are in a much more open-minded country that everything is like okay and you can be yourself, and it's not paradise, let's say.
Okay, so that would be your advice, let's say, to people who decide if they should immigrate, still be cautious, and conscious that there's still danger to your existence.
Exactly.
But I mean, if you had a choice now, for example, moving to Belgium or not, would you do that, or you would stay in Morocco?
It's about yes or no, but of course, like yes, of course, I will never regret being here because of the conditions, the context, that it's much more easy for like finding a job or being able to have a boyfriend. I would always choose being here, of course, because I have all of my friends and everything. Still, it's like it's not perfect, you know. Things are not like white or black; they are in the middle somewhere. But it's important to be conscious of that. Morocco is not like hell neither. It's, of course, there are beautiful people, generous people, like beautiful souls and everything. So it's also about being able to keep things separate somehow.
Thank you. So you said that you are currently working your film, right? Have you ever thought incorporating some Moroccan culture or some elements of Arabic world?
Yeah. One of my characters is African from Congo. That one is, I still don't know yet, but he's gonna be from Iran or maybe like from Lebanon or from Palestine, or at least from a country that it's Arabic. Of course, I want to show the two different sides that are important to me, but also there will be like Belgian people, white people, I mean, people from everywhere, because there are a few characters to fill.
So would you say still keep in touch, with your original culture?
Yes. Well, not as much as I want, but I would like to go back a little bit more now, because as I told you, my aunt, she has Alzheimer's. And so I want to be much closer to her, because she could also disappear. And I think I'm ready now to go back with much more.
Okay. And in the beginning, when you found out, about yourself, you said that because you didn't have that much family, no one would really care. But what about like other, let's say, members of the community from Morocco? Would you still hang out with them, or you would stay away from them because you know that Morocco
in Brussels or in Morocco?
In Brussels, when you moved. So now that you're there, did you still want to hang out with them, or you like, okay, now that you know that you're queer, you don't want to be with them because you know that they are homophobic?
Well, the thing is, like in Brussels, the mentality is very, very, very fast. I mean, people are growing very fast. They know about queer very fast. There is a very big energy of feminist, queer, decolonial, and everything. So it's very easy to connect with people who share the same values from everywhere, whether from Morocco, from Asia, from everywhere. People have a very good mindset in Brussels, generally. And I have a lot of friends from Morocco, I have a lot of friends from everywhere, really everywhere. And I really love that. For me, it's very important to also show these different faces through my art, to show the reality that it's in Brussels, that it's the second more cosmopolitan country in the world. And it's so beautiful because we all come from different parts of the world, and we all have a lot to share. And this makes people grow even more and learn even more, learn about themselves, because the moment you learn about the world, you learn about yourself, because the world is us. I mean, the world is the unity. So it's like we all are different faces of the same soul. So it's very beautiful, Brussels, in these terms.
So when they come, different nationalities, like I believe they're also from Morocco, who are queer. And people who, let's say, not queer, do you still in touch with them, or you choose not to be part of?
No, I have a lot of friends who are not queer. To me, the most important is the values we share, and not really like what we look like. But I want people to be responsible about the world context, and powers and everything, and the privileges we all have, more or less, and to be able to integrate others as they are and not as we wanted them to be. If I'm friend with a Moroccan or a white or whatever Asian person, and this person is like, no, I think these people are too religious and I don't like religion, and people who are always judging people because they are religious, to me, it's a lack of openness. It's a lack of open-mindedness. I try all the time to not judge people, even if it's not easy, because we are all judging somehow. We all have. It's about not being perfect in that, but being able to question things and say, okay, this is my way of seeing this person who wears a scarf, or like wears the hijab or something, but this person could be a good person, actually. Maybe she's not dominated by her husband. Maybe it's a choice. Maybe this person is passionate about painting. Maybe she likes to watch funny videos, like funny series and movies. Or, maybe she's not as what I think she is. Maybe she's not the danger I think she is. And maybe this black person is not what I think she is. And maybe like this Arabic person is not what I think it is. To me, the people who have assumptions, I can discuss with them, but I will not give them my time. I will not like bring them into my close circle, because I don't want to be surrounded with people who are already doubting about your existence. Because how is it possible to doubt about other people's existence? I don't want to give them more energy, so I will keep them far away from me. But if we meet and then this person talk about something and he wants me to answer and he proposes to debate about it, I will give him some time, but I'm not going to lose all of my energy in that. So I try to also like preserve and save my energy to myself, because I need it first for myself. And I need people around me to be a safe place to discuss and to make so that it becomes like flow, easy. And there is abundance of good people in Brussels. That's true. That I didn't find, for example, in other places in Belgium. Not everybody, but you can really feel this racism, right-handed, homophobic, and everything. So
yeah, thank you. So, and then you stay open-minded, even though you know that maybe cultural prejudice they might have against you. Very, very interesting. Well, I wanted to ask about the language. When you spoke Arabic and let's say French, do you feel the same person? Maybe you sound differently, or your identity also changes?
of course, the moment you start to talk another language, you always have like another personality, and there is like another flow. When I speak English, there's another flow. Then when I speak French, there's another flow. If I speak Arabic, there's another flow. And of course, language contains also the culture, and so it has other ways of expressing things that I lost a bit in Arabic, for example, because we have a lot of expressions that we say that now I'm not able to say it anymore because I forgot it a bit. I do my best to connect with the culture. If I go to Morocco, I'm not going to be the same person, because I'm going to try to hide some parts of myself, and same if I go, I don't know, in Charleroi, for example, which is in Belgium, I will not really be the same person again, because if I express myself in the same way that I do it in Brussels, in Charleroi, it will not be very welcome. It will be like, who is this person? Look at him, and. It will be much more easier to be myself in Brussels. And the same in Morocco, it will have to work even more on my straight appearance, to be like invisible and like to not catch the attention of people.
Okay. And in general, what language, when you speak, you feel free the most? Is it French, maybe?
I think I'm much more competent in French, but I feel much more connected to the language of English. That's why I like to write in English sometimes and speak in English in poetry sometimes too. Or when I'm singing, I like the sound of English. I like French too, actually, but English has more character. There is something that I like in the pronunciation and everything.
And what language would you say you can express yourself better? Let's say not in terms of language competences, but in terms of being yourself, expressing who you are.
I would say French. I have much more vocabulary to express myself in the right words, and yeah, of course, Moroccan. It's like now it's a bit more difficult to be able to speak, but it takes me really a few days to reconnect again. So the moment I'm gonna come back, I will like just absorb everything, and then after 3 days I'm able to speak, because it's written in the childhood consciousness. It's like difficult to take back, because it's there. I did the exercise of watching Egyptian movies, because when I was living in Morocco, we had the access to all the Arabic channels, Egyptian, Lebanese, Syrian, and Arabic cinema. We got used to learn, to understand, to be able to speak these languages, as Morocco was not really the cultural center of the Arabic world. So the other Arabic countries were not able to speak Moroccan, because it's very different, but we understand the Arabic world because we can even speak it. So when I was a child, I was able to understand and speak the other Arabic languages. But I faced this situation when I was in Palestine, for example. I was really not able to understand Arabic, and I was surprised that I lost it. Of course, not the Moroccan, because Moroccan is my roots, but the other Arabic languages are much more difficult for me to speak and to understand. So I did the exercise of really listening, watching movies, and I was surprised that at some point I was catching a lot of information. So it's like the brain is able to refresh the knowledge.
Thank you. Well, would be the end of our interview. I want to say thank you, Zuheir, for coming and being with us. I hope you have a great movie ahead of you, a wonderful work.
Thank you very much.